So Aporia arrives tomorrow as a brand new unlockable character, and with Aporia comes Mechlords. With Mechlords comes the brand new mini box Force of Infinity. No Cyber Dragon Infinity for the structure deck, but we have some brand new Mechlord cards, some Odd Eye stuff, some Perform Pals, brand new Pendulum cards. There's a lot in here, though we can't really say for certain how good it's going to be, because in the case of things like the Mechlords, right, we don't know Aporia's skills or level ups, so there could be some brand new cards in there to support these, or it could be a load of garbage. For Abyss Actors, we don't know if Sylvia will get a brand new skill like we had with Clock Tower Prison, like we had for the BLS, with the Red Eye stuff in the last box, because if they do, then that changes the whole rhetoric over these brand new cards. So, and if you're new around here and want to stay up to date on the latest Duel Links, Master Duel and Cross Duel content, leave a like down below or subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 50k by the end of the year. That would be really cool if we could do that. Let's dive into the box, of course. Astro Mechanical. This is a very, very big boy. I think Mechlords won't be that good even with a skill. They need to do a lot to make them good, and this can suck up a Synchro, which would have been good, you know, years ago, but now that the only real Synchro deck is Harpies, and Harpy can chain their Harpy Cyber Slash to this to bounce back to the hand, it doesn't seem all that worthwhile to invest 3 Mechlords from your hand to summon this boy, which, yes, he's big, yes, he can yoink the monster, yes, he can burn in the standby phase, but he's not doing anything else apart from that, and there's other Mechlord Astro cards in a TCG that could be very good, that could come, but we don't know yet. If his skill might give us some, if we get some sort of evolution skill to change one into another, that could work for summon that can't be actually summoned in Duel Links. Cool, we're getting it, but nothing overly amazing. Then a card that is way too soon. Well, it's not too soon, but we've not got, you know, the whole range of cards to actually support it, is Meteor Burst Dragon. It's a level 7 Synchro generic that when it's special summoned, you can target a card in your pen zone and special it, but this card cannot attack. And your opponent is locked down from monster effects in the battle phase. Many things like Sphere Karibo, Kiteroid, Cyber / Harpy Lady, they don't work in the battle phase. It's really good, but the main combo with this was to go into a rank 7 Absolute Dragon, right? And then when that dies, you summon this boy out. So it was very similar to how Cyber Dragon Infinity works in, you know, when that dies, you summon out Cyber End. It was very similar to that, and given we haven't got it yet, I feel like they're setting up for it though. In the, you know, January, we might get Yuto, you know, bring us, you know, Dark Rebellion, and then they could open the floodgates of, you know what, let's bring some Odd Eyes XC support, let's do that. That would work quite nicely, but right now, it's a fine ultra rare, but one that won't really see play unless Pendulums can really make it big and really benefit from that Pen Zone special summon. Then we have Abyss Actor Superstar, who we have in Duel Links already via the skill, the once per turn Pen Defect, contribute an Abyss Actor you control to target an Abyss Script spell in your graveyard and put it back in your hand. And also, when she's normal special summoned, your opponent can't activate spell trap cards or effects, which is really big because this doesn't stop, you know, this doesn't stop them from playing traps the entire turn, it's only on summon. So if you were to pen 3 for all these Abyss Actors, your whole board wouldn't get floodgated, they just can't do it. So this does really help with that, and once per turn it searches out an Abyss spell from your deck, sets it, which is really nice. There's really one Abyss Script card you're going to go for, it's a rare, it's really, really good, but the main kind of downside with Abyss Actors right now is that their spells, all of them require being destroyed, and we have no field spell to kind of make that effect live. You know, the Abyss Actors are going to come to Duel Links and be kind of half-baked because your opponent won't play into it. They will know what you're playing from the offset, and so they won't use MST to blow up a back row because they know they can trigger something to special some cards or search some cards. They won't do that, and without the field spell, you can't really get it off yourself. So, they're going to be cool. Let's go on to Orient Dragon. Now, this is a generic level 6 Synchro. When it's Synchro Summon, target Synchro monster opponent controls and banish it. Of course, it's very good for Cyber Slash. I think there's a place for this. I know some people have been thinking it's really bad, but I feel like sometimes you do want just that one disruption to just banish it, right? And so, you know, as part of your generic rank 6 package, I think it's fine. You know, it is very matchup dependent, but in that matchup, it could be incredibly powerful. Then we have Wisel Synchro Absorption, finally free from the skill. I don't like this card at all, not really that interesting to me. But then we have Mechlord Army Deployer Obligato, a level 4 with okay stats, but it works very similarly to the Gimmick Puppet Horse, I think it is. The one that you contribute this card to special 2 Mechlord Army monsters from your deck in defense mode. So that's a Mechlord Army of Skill, Wise, or Grenell. They're all level 4s, they're all lights, I believe. So you can just go 1 card into 2, but you're then locked into machines, which isn't very good for Duel Links, because in Duel Links, we don't really have, I think we have maybe 1 or 2 rank 4 machines. If in the future we get some more stuff, then great. This does set up your board to go into one of your bigger Mechlord cards when we get them, and of course, if you do then blow up those cards on your field, then you can then summon out your Weisel, that we have a super rare card from the last box. So you can kind of see the plays they're trying to make you go for here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Again, without seeing the skills and level ups, we can't really say for sure. Then, Noble Dragon Magician, our first Odd Eyes Magician Pendulum Tuner, which is fine. It's hard locked, being used for a dragon type synchro, and if there were monsters other than Odd Eyes, it goes back to the bottom of the deck, which, you know, is fine for recycling, but really you want it to go to the pen zone to then be able to trigger it off and bring it back next turn and pen summon something else, and, you know, synchro summon something else as well. So you really don't want that to happen, but if it does happen, it's not the end of the world. But also, you can, if it's in your graveyard or your hand, special summon itself out by reducing the level of 1 level 7 high Odd Eyes by 3, and then summon this out. So if you have an Odd Eyes on board already, you summon this out, immediately, there's your materials for your Meteor Burst Dragon. Again, you are then kind of pseudo-locked into dragons, but that's things like Ancient Fairy Dragon, Black Rose Dragon, so there is definitely some cards we can use outside of Meteor Burst, but Meteor Burst will be the one that fits kind of nicely the most into that deck. Then, Melomadonna, our first ever Scale 0 in Duel Links. She's a searcher, pay 1000 to search out an Abyss Actor Pendulum from your deck. She can go and search your rank 9, or your scale 9, Twinkle Little Star, or you could search for Wild Hope, which can then place that in the scale, change level to 9, then you have a scale 0 through 9, pen someone from the hand, and just swarm the field with your Superstar. Superstar, make it so that, you know, you can't play spell or trap cards. You can then search out for your Abyss Rise of the Abyss King, which can then nuke the board equal to the number of tap monsters you control. Ah, this card is so good for a rare. This should not be a rare, but I understand why they did it, because if they didn't, then they wanted to nerf it, they would have to nerf a super rare card or higher very, very quickly. It becomes a super poly when it's level 7 or higher, which means you do have things like your Superstar out, then you're in for a very good time. But also, back to Melomadonna. She also can summon herself out from hand when Abyss Actor Pendulum is destroyed, which is fine, just summoning out a free 25 defense wall, and if an Abyss Script spell card is activated, you can special 1 level 4 low Abyss Actor from your deck, but it's then returned back to the hand in the end phase, which means that even if, you know, like, if, for example, your opponent did decide to blow out the back row, kill one of your cards and it triggered, then you could just search out for another Wild Hope for next turn to get those pen scales ready. Really just, Abyss Actors I think have the highest chance of seeing competitive success, but it really does depend on the metagame, and it does depend on if we get a brand new skill, because right now they have a very good skill in their search skill, but I don't think that's going to be entirely enough. We talked about this one, Wild Hope. When he's destroyed a battle by card effect, you can search on Abyss Actor card from your deck to your hand, which is really good. Decent stat line. Can again make his scale or the other scale up to 9, which is really big for those pen summons, which is great. Dinomist Rexlo Mo is in the house. This is a very fun deck. We're getting all of the cards bar one, their most powerful trap card, Dinomist Howling, which is crazy good and can, like, you know, I could see it being an ultra rare card in a main box, like, you know, February time, if not later. But the whole point of Dinomists is this battle phase reliant control deck. You have the pen scales for protection, and then the actual monster effects for swarming the field, for summoning things out, for popping cards, bouncing back cards, shuffling cards. They do a ton of things, but also they're all waters, which means we can use Shark's Terror to the Shark skill to make them all rank 4s, and then turn this into a rank 4 pendulum deck, which I think I'm most excited about this deck from the box. It's the cheapest, right? You need 1 super rare 3 times, and that's about it, and the rest of them are all rares and normals, which is great to see. So, I don't think this will be a top tier deck. If it is, then that's kind of the redemption they needed, because in the TCG, they came out way too late to really do anything for pendulums. So having some redemption in Duel Links would, you know, be very nice to see. Then, Santa Claus. Finally, it took them so long, but they're finally having a seasonal box. And this is our first real kaiju in Duel Links. I know you can say Lava Golems are kaiju, Volcanic Queens are kaiju, but they're really not, because they take up your normal summon. And if Santa Claus doesn't, it does summon a monster in defense mode, you know, you get your opponent a free body, and also, you then give them a free draw, which is, I think, might be a fair enough trade, but I don't see this card being played on ladder a ton. I think there'll be certain decks that really work with this. This would be a very good side deck card for tournaments, for certain matchups, but the real star of the show, this box, is Mild Turkey and Ghost Beef. Just the best Christmas themed cards you could ask for, and I'm glad they kind of saw this, you know, this opportunity and thought, you know what, we'll put them in. It makes thematical sense. Then moving on to spells, we have Mechlord Assembly, which is a Tenki for Mechlord, searching out a Mechlord card, which is really, really nice. I think that's the main effect you're going to be using, and then you can choose one of these effects per turn. You can either discard one card to target monster you control, destroy it, which will then trigger off the effect of your Mechlord Wisel in hand, summon it out, which is cool. And if a face-up Mechlord card or monster you control is drawn by battle or by card effect, you can target one other face-up spell track on the field and destroy it. I don't think this is all that good. I think the first effect is a bit better, being able to trigger it whenever you want. It is a discard a card, so you do have to actively have more cards in hand to get that effect off, but it might be worthwhile playing. You know, whenever you get a search spell for a deck, that's already very good, right? Especially when it's, you know, Tenki-esque, but filling up that back row, I don't know if that's overly worth it, but sure. And then speaking of Tenkis, we have the Tenki for Dinomist Charge, which when it's played, you add a Dinomist monster, and once per turn, if a Dinomist card is added from the field to your extra deck face up, you can then add one of those cards back to your hand. So you have things like, let's go back to our Dinomist Rex here. So Dinomist Rex can, whilst in the pen zone, negate the activate card effect and destroy its card. If you do that, it'll negate the effect, but then it'll go back to your hand, ready for next turn to scale it, to then get the effect off again, or to pen summon it from your hand to kind of bypass the restriction of the whole you know, one summon from the extra deck. The thing with this is, it is mandatory. So it's the first time when the effect is activated you can do that. You can't choose when to actually play it. So there is that kind of downside to it, but I think in Duel Links that is more than worthwhile you actually using, just because we have every other card in the archetype, right? We have Ceratops, we have Spinos, we have Plesios, we have Stegosaur, the entire deck in here, apart from that trap card, that I think there's a very high chance this being a very competent COG level deck, but nothing too tournament topping, until we see Dinomist Howling, but even then, maybe not. But overall, I'm very excited for this brand new box coming on the 10th. I thought it wouldn't be that hype of a box. When I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, here we go, Mechlord cards, but the Mechlord stuff you can kind of ignore for the moment, because they might turn out to be really good, right? We don't know just yet what the skill's going to do, but I really doubt it. But the Pendulum stuff, all of it, aside from maybe Noble Dragon, is genuinely decent. And we've been kind of waiting to see Pendulum kind of flourish in Duel Links. Obviously, it's not been too long since September, right? But, you know, people are so desperate to see Pendulum kind of come out the gate swinging and be worthwhile having in the game. And this might just be the start it needs before we get to Magic Spectres, before we get into Draco Slayers in the selection box, which I think that's where they're going to come. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know down below what you think of the brand new box. And, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, whenever that is, for the brand new box coming out. Yeah, see you then.